Juliet. Welcome back to my channel. I was inspired to make these little mini quilts when I saw these hangers at Hobby Lobby. They are actually doll clothes hangers. So they were in that department where they have the miniatures and the miniature furniture for doll houses. I put together this packet that I am selling on my Etsy store. I do have the general instructions in here on how to create these little quilts, and also the applique or the designs on the back. So if any of you are interested, that link will be down below if you want to create these. I thought they would be really cute in a laundry room or a sewing room or even a little girl's room. There's the two dresses and then also the dress form. So I hope you have a chance to join me today. Let's get started. Starting off with some of the supplies needed, I wanted to share first of all what these little hangers look like in the package. There's a set of 4 of them. I couldn't find them on Amazon, but I will link something similar down below if you're not by a Hobby Lobby. Also, everything else that I'm using today will be linked down below. I have my pieces cut at 9.5 by 12. I have the background, the batting, and the backing. The light gray is the backing. My designs, and I'm using the Heat and Bond light, and then you're going to need some scraps just for your applique. I'm using this basting adhesive. This is just a temporary basting adhesive. Just put a light spray on the top of my batting. This is just going to keep everything together before I quilt or while I quilt. If you have a fusible batting, that would also work. I just don't have it on hand right now. Just laying my background piece and just going to be smoothing that out. Now I'm making my sandwich here. I have my right sides together, so that's my backing that I laid on top of there. And I'm going to be stitching around, leaving about a 3 or 4 inch gap for the turning. I'm not putting a binding on this, so this is just a really easy way to complete these little quilts. I stitched around and now I'm turning it through that opening, just poking out my corners, rolling my seams, and we'll be pressing this just to get everything to lay nice and flat, and also turning under that opening. These will be top stitched next, and I'm going to be top stitching just about 1/4 inch away. And I did all 3 of them at the same time. So I've got the 3 of them, and now I'm going to quilt them all differently. I'm going to use my walking foot for one, and then my free motion foot for the others. And I'm just going to share with you how I do that. I have my walking foot on, and I've got that guide, that seam guide, and I turned it up for this first stitch. I'm just going to go from corner to corner. I didn't mark it, but you certainly could. I'm just eyeballing it here. Once that stitch line is in place, now I'm going to move that guide to the distance I want, and also so it's resting right on top or right above that stitch line. You can see it there, and it's going to guide just to make sure that all my stitch lines are evenly spaced. And I'm going to continue doing this diagonal stitch all the way on this one, changing to my free motion foot now. And this first one, I'm going to be, well, first of all, I wanted to make sure my bobbin didn't make a mess on my bobbin thread, and so I put that bobbin thread to the top. And then I'm just stitching over that just to secure that and then moving that out of the way. When I'm completely done with these quilts, I will take a needle and hide those. I'll hide them right in the layers. But this particular one now, I'm just going to be outlining some of these flowers and also outlining the centers. You can see I'm just traveling some, but for the most part just outlining all those flowers. And this is the last one, and I decided on this one that I wanted to do little like a meander or pebble stitch in the centers of the flowers, and also in between the flowers, so the background of the flowers. And I just, again, traveling from space to space. Here you'll see me going back up into another circle or another center and doing some more of the background. All done with my quilting, and I'm just threading my needles and getting rid of some of those threads just by hiding them in between the layers. This is what the diagonal one looks like. And then about my other two with my free motion. And this is the one where I just did the centers and the outline. I think this is my favorite one. I think that one turned out really fun. On to doing the applique now. I'm just going to be tracing around all my pieces. Some of those pieces you see with a dashed line, those are the ones that are behind. And so I do have that all ready for you on this pattern. You do want to draw on the dashed line because they'll be like a little bit bigger because they're going to be setting behind. And just going to rough cut these out, and these will be ironed on the back side of my fabric. And here I am ironing. So the paper side is up, the glue side is down. That one piece I wanted to iron on the front side of the fabric because it's the back side or the inside of the dress along the neckline. You'll see it later. I have some scraps of this of my heat and bond, and I'm just going to lay it on the back of this one print, and I'm going to cut out some of those little flowers and decorate my dress with some of those little flowers. I have a parchment paper or parchment Teflon sheet here. Parchment paper would also work. I'm just going to assemble all my little pieces here. This is just an easier way to deal with these little pieces. Just assembling them on here, removing that back paper, getting this little hanger in there. The hangers are optional, but I think they're fun. And now I'm just going to press this now that it's in place. Just ironing it right onto this sheet, and that'll easily release. Now decorating it. I thought lace would be fun. You can decorate these however you want. Maybe adding some tulle to it. Once those are in place, I'm just going to iron that, and I'll just really carefully remove it. And that sticky side now is still on the back, and then I can iron that into place right onto my background. Onto the second little dress, I'm cutting out the little belt there, and I thought I'd add another little flower right to the center. Added that hanger, again carefully removing it, and then pressing it onto my background. And I did the same with my little mannequin. I'm going to add some of the lines with my heat erase pens. So some of those little gather marks and dart marks on the dresses, and also that wire hanger part on the hanger. Just putting all those into place so I don't forget when I'm at the sewing machine. I have my free motion foot on, and I do have my feed dogs dropped, just taking up that bobbin thread again. And now I'm just going to outline. And some places I'll go over twice, and now I am doing those little gathered marks. I love free motion because it's like drawing with thread, and you can see there on the flower I added in the detail. And now again I'm just outlining. When you're free motion, you can go forwards and backwards. Sometimes I do turn my work just so that I can see it a little bit better. And then down I go, and then I'm going to again draw in some of these little marks. And here's the little pink dress doing the same thing, and you'll see that I decorate all these little flowers just by outlining some of the petals on it or the little centers.
And here's what they look like. I've got all three of them complete. I wanted to add a little saying to this. I just stamped that onto a piece of muslin fabric. It says, "Inspiration is everywhere." And I added some Heat and Bond light to the back of this as well, and I'm going to just press that into place and then take it to my sewing machine and stitch that down. On to doing the little hangers, just marking where I want that hanger to be. And then I'm taking my crocodile punch and I'm punching right through that fabric just to leave little holes. Now you could also put eyelets in, but I'm going to just take these to my sewing machine and I'm just going around and around with free motion stitching and just circling those little holes. I like this organic look of this. And then just poking some ribbon through, and we'll be tying this little hanger right on with this ribbon. And here's what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. I thought this was really fun and I love the bright colors. I hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.